It happened last fall. Then October was rainy, as I remember now. The weather was nasty. The sun was already hiding, and my friends and I were walking around the city. And then I met my photographer friend. We generally began to talk about our work with him. The guys had already gone far. Well, I thought I'd just call them later and decide where to meet. We talked with him for a very long time, and then his friend came up to him. Saying hello, they offered me a walk to their mutual friend. We wandered almost to the edge of the city, private houses went, and then they tell me, "Wait here a minute, we'll go to a friend, it's fast." "Okay," I replied. I was standing, waiting, and then, out of nowhere, a heavy rain began to fall. I thought, what kind of luck? And where are these guys? I decided to go home. Since I didn't have the cell phone numbers of those guys, I turned around and just started walking through puddles because I was already soaked. Suddenly, someone called out to me, "Young man." I turned around, and near the nearest house, there was a woman standing on the threshold and waving her hand at me, showing me to approach her. And what the hell pulled me there? I can't understand until this time. I went to the fence, and she says to me, "Well, why did you get up there? Such a downpour. Quickly go into the house, otherwise you will catch a cold." The unknown woman said. Not seeing anything strange in this, I opened the gate and went into the house. Well, the woman didn't look like some kind of demon. Why not come in, warm up with warm tea, since it was already almost dark outside, and I was all wet. I went into her house, took off my jacket, and followed the woman. She looked cute. Her hair was gathered into a ball. In general, the simplest woman. We went into the hall, and then I saw some guy, about 20 years old, a young kid. He seemed very strange to me. I was sitting in a chair, and I was looking at one point. The woman went into the kitchen, and I stayed in the room with this guy. I'm sitting and trying to get warm. That woman is muttering something to herself in the kitchen. I can't make out anything. At this moment, a dog, a Rottweiler, runs into the room, grinning in my direction, all wet. Only from the street it looks like, and everything would be fine. Only the dog left bloody traces behind him. I didn't think much of it. Maybe she got hurt somewhere, I thought. I myself, in principle, am not a timid guy. It is not clear where this blood came from, so there was no point in panicking. The dog was looking at me, then its owner called out, "Rex, come here." And the dog immediately went to the kitchen. The guy was sitting and still looking at one point. There's a loud and heart-rending scream coming from the kitchen. Bitch, he knows. He knows why I called him. Catch him. Catch and kill. Then this guy abruptly gets up from his chair and starts walking in my direction. I started walking quietly with my back to the exit. I wanted to leave this place. Then I noticed his legs. He had hooves in the place of his feet. I just couldn't believe my eyes. I sometimes heard such stories, and I read them on the internet more than once, but I could never think that this would happen to me. This creature was walking in my direction and was yelling loudly. Just yelling, and that was it. It was probably like an intimidating effect of some kind. I don't know. I punched this guy in the face with all my might. He couldn't stand on his hooves and collapsed to the floor. I quickly ran to the door. This mad dog was racing after me. I ran like crazy through the whole house, slamming the door behind me. I found myself on the street. There was a heavy downpour, lightning, thunder. To my joy, I saw in the distance the guys who were standing at the house of their friend. Apparently, they thought that maybe I had not gone away for a long time. I ran up to them, using obscenities, told them that they needed to run. They looked at me like a fool, but when they saw that I was without shoes, they realized that I was not joking. The door opened behind me. A wild, loud scream was heard from there. The three of us rushed towards the city like crazy. When I got home, I immediately called the police. Of course, they didn't believe what I said, and no one went anywhere to investigate. After 3 days, the guy with whom we went to that house was found in his apartment. His throat was torn, his mouth was sewn up. When they took off the threads and opened the guy's mouth, there was a piece of horse meat lying there. They conducted an examination and said that a dog tore his throat. They don't want to believe in my story until today.